This is a one pass seeding fruit. Use the G key to change which tool you want to disconnect from. This leaves both the seeder and the cultivator connected to one. This is important in activating both seeders. So pay attention when I get everything hooked up. Pay attention to what I'm doing here. I'll tell you each time I push the G key so that you know that I'm changing from one tool to the next. For those interested, this tractor could be located and downloaded from American Eagles Modeling. It is one of the best conversions that I have run into so far for 2013. Tractor comes with file specs, driver's seat, shocks. Really nice tractor. Again, see, I'm on the sower right now. I'm changing the tool. This is control my tractor. Okay, push it again. This controls only the cultivator, and I can disconnect the cultivator and then drive away. If the seeder was up and active, then I disconnect the seeder from the cultivator. It's like when you have them connected in a daisy chain, you can disconnect the back one or you can disconnect the entire chain. Or what do you call it? Road train, I guess is the international term. This is still a work in progress. I need some steel to make some connection points in there and make it look right. I'll probably retexture it and change the tires, because it's got to have rubber tires for driving on the road. There's 3 connection joints there, one in the center for transport, and then one on each of the booms. Now this is attacher point low faults for the dolly. The trailer attachers for the cultivators, they're both present. Now, I turn on X, and that will unfold both cultivators at once. Regardless of where your setting is at, you can operate the raise, lower, and fold of the cultivators. That's regardless of where your position is in tool selection, which is a interesting thing, and I like that. Now, to activate the seeders, let's get over here to the edge of the field here. Go ahead and get this lowered out. Okay, now we change tool. Okay, this is seeder 1. Whichever seeder 1 is the first one that was connected to the chain here. Turn it on. Okay, now pay attention here. See if you're in the tree, B. Select B and you turn it on. O, you can select your seed. Okay, we're going to plant, we're going to plant some barley here. Okay, and now we're going to go to G, and that's back to tractor. Now this is the other cultivator, and this is the other seeder. See how this one's not turned on? So we select the seed in this one over to barley, so that's the same as we had in the other one, and now we turn it on. And now we just F1, turn that off. We can hit O because we want to clean up the edge of these fields, because this is still the my rough painting. So you want to use O to clean up the edge of your fields, and you put 1, and you begin. Oops. I made a mistake there. I put O by mistake when I was on the seeder and not the cultivators. So I got to change this back to barley. And then I got to open the F1 panel and get this back to cultivators. Now push the O key, and now you see I disabled the safe mode. See, if you're not on the right tool and you use a command key, you're going to activate something else that you don't want. But this will be easy to correct when I come around to the next pass, and you'll see how. And here we go. Planting barley. Like I need to adjust the cutting areas of the cultivators a little bit, so so it catches that strip in the center. So I just move the attachers in a little bit is all I'm going to do. On the tow bar, let's move the attacher joints in a little bit. So we'll run off and we'll do that now, and then we'll come back for another short clip and see that. Okay, after a bit of adjustment with cutting areas and stuff and collisions, I am back. And let's go with the cab view here, see how things are going. Look at that. Now what I would normally do in a situation like this is one would be longer than the other, so that, or I'd have the attacher joints on one of the cultivators, like a little bit on the outside, so that the wheels don't overlap the cedars in the back like that. However, that would make it more complicated to hitch up, so I'm not going to do that for gameplay. But in real life, that's how it'd be. You would have the wheels of the cedar overlapping like they do. But I've moved the wheel collisions in, the wheel cowls inside the cedar base, so that they're not colliding. And but if you're on a side hill that pushes one cedar into the other, then you may have a wheel collision there. I haven't done any steep work yet, but I will be doing some more steep work before I actually release this. I'm going to be testing it on all of the ground that's going to be released here for Mountains map, which is work in progress. This is a map that you're seeing with the hillsides on it. This is the field right next to the house, which you're going to buy it as a rotten field. You have to purchase it for $55,000. There are some fields that you already own, and a lot of these stock equipment here that I'm building, or editing I should say, in the Redneck Welding Shop, will be starting vehicles. Along with this beautiful tractor will be in the default vehicles as well. I'll include a note card on where to get the equipment and links. Look at that beautiful turn. And those patches on the turn like that, that's normal. Once you're done with the field, you just come back around and clean up any of that. You run your corners. Once you actually get your outside base, in fact this time around, once I come around here and I actually got 2 rows around, I'll show you how to clean up them corners. And remember this patch over here in the center, that was before I edited the mod, so if you notice, it's not leaving that patch anymore behind. took me a couple times to get it just right. You know, I got it too close a couple times, and I had collisions with the cultivators. Now that patch I just left there was violent fault or not missing mark. Higher function does not work on this tow dolly. Reason being, one, I don't know how to make it so, and two, with this type of apparatus, I don't know if you'd want to trust an AI to operate it, because the cultivator texture reads cultivator texture. Therefore, with it being seated behind it, the cultivator just going to run right over your seat. So unless you have a good headland surrounding your field, so that it can go to the edge of the field and you don't have to cut a headland to keep it in the boundaries of your field, then you could run the higher without the dolly, the tow dolly. And I will set up a field like I'm talking about. I'll set one up and show you what I mean. And then you can use this system to run the higher function in solo player, but without the tow dolly. That means it's a single cultivator and a single seeder. And you can turn that loose with the higher working. And the next clip I'll be demonstrating that. I'll go buy another small field and turn one of these guys loose on the field. First I'm going to have to modify it first. I'll show you how to do that in game, so that you don't have to edit your map in GE to break multiplayer and have to distribute it and everything. This is a way that you can use this machine without having to edit your map in GE. Now I'll show you how that's done here. But first off, let's get down here to the corner, and I'll show you how the corners are done around here. Because we don't go back and forth in our fields, we go around and around and around the field. If you've seen any pictures of the Pacific Northwest harvests and things, which I'll be including in the map, links to some nice pictures and things of the actual terrain that we farm around here. I'm not using a DEM map on this map at this time. I'm actually just editing another map and just learning the process and getting familiar with the new GE and building the tools. The tools necessary for this type of farming techniques and styles. I'm doing it in the same general way that the founders of this country did, or this part of the country. You know, they came over with Lewis and Clark, and they didn't have much with them. They had the knowledge of the way they used to farm back in Europe and England and UK and the East Coast, and they came with those ideas, and they took off with their knowledge, and well, they had to adapt their knowledge for the type of terrain, the soil composition, and this is some of the things that they did back then, you know. They would use cultivators like this, horse-drawn. A lot of them are made of wood, wooden frames and so forth. They'd use seeders like this that were also made of wood and wagon wheels. And then as tractors came out, you know, big steam engines and whatnot, well, they'd start pulling them with steam engines, use the same equipment. And then as tractors gotten bigger, more powerful, all the equipment had to keep up with it. Well, what they did is they'd make dollies and then just start pulling more of them and pull them like this until the manufacturer decided to come out with big folding ones, and they caught up with the farmers' needs and desires and what they wanted by the things that the farmers themselves were manufacturing and fabricating for their own purposes. Now this is what I would do in this situation right here. This is what we would do it right here. Because though there needs to be cultivated, I'd leave the cultivator down and come right over here like this. I'm going to kill the safe mode here. Disconnect that so that it's in safe mode just in case I get a little bit wild with my turn. I'm still learning the clearances and distances. This is a game. It's kind of hard to see in 2D what depth is in 3D. So it's kind of hard to do things with the cab and whatnot, but I'm learning. It takes practice. To see how I just took care of that there and that just turnaround swing. Now next time when I come and do that, I'll actually lift the cultivator up and it won't be dragging. But I'll keep the seat on. Since I have to turn the seaters on one at a time, I'll just leave the seaters going. Now the original builder of this wonderful John Deere seeder is working on a new version for the seeder. I actually had permissions to re-release this in 2011 with the iFrame attachment. You can see my other videos to see that. And well, that's going to require a special Luna to be able to pull 3 seaters. And so I'm not able to release that. And he's asked me not to release this for 2013 because he's working on it himself, and he'll be releasing it himself. The Luas he gives Lua out of error all over the place when this thing is actually fully functional. When it has the lids that open up and everything, it still works in game with the original Luas and everything. You can open the fertilizer tank, fill it. You can open the seed tank and fill it. Take off and spray fertilizer and seed and do it like this, but you cannot hire with it. If you try to hire with it, it goes berserk. And that has to do with the Lewis grips being incompatible with 2013. But stripped down, just put sewing machine cylinders, and you can fill it up with seed and it'll run just like this. And I can lift up the cultivator like I just did and make the turn and come back around here. That's a little bit wild there on that seeder. I don't know what happened there. I've never done that before. I was behind the tree, so I didn't see what happened, so I'll be paying more attention next time. Could be just a hitch, it's a little bit too close and it's binding up against the tongue. Got to drop the cultivator. I was talking too much. That happens. Yep, that's it. In first gear, about 18% with this beautiful John Deere 8360R. I can't remember the author off the top of my head because I'm bad with names anyway. But you can find it on AmericanEaglesModeling.com, and I'll be posting a link in the description above on where to get that. The map is work in progress. The Ford you can find on GameModeling.com or Game Modding. And it's actually good quality. It's the Ford TW35, and it's been converted very well. Kind of slow on dropping that. The seeder is a cultivator seeder, which I wish it wasn't, because it shouldn't actually be able to defoliate and whatnot. So I'm not. Technically speaking, you can just take this seeder without the cultivator and anything else, just directly seed this stuff, and it would cultivate it and strip it and seed it. Complete no-till seeding. But back in the day, they couldn't do that. You needed a lot stronger cedar for that. We call them deep pearls. I haven't seen any on top of my head, and I haven't been out to the ranch to get any pictures of it, but I will be doing so one of these days. But yep, this is the system here, and I will take off and go set up a field for the solo system and show you how that works. And we'll post that clip on the tail end of this. And well, have a good day. Okay, here we are. We're back. I fixed my field issue. I misspelled the owned by player part in the user attributes, and that's why it wasn't owned. Anyway, I went ahead and did the headlands on both ends so that you can see the issue when this is connected. It'll just continue to go right on past it. What I'm actually needing, and I'll actually write this up in actual English, what needs to be done, and I need it translated into Luna code. I need the cultivator, when connected to cedar from rear, then it will stop on the seeded ground. Like right here, it'll stop right there at that seeded ground right now, and then lift up and turn around instead of going all the way to the end and stopping and turn around. See, when it actually reaches ground that's already been cultivated, that's what it does. So effectively, I need a Luna script that when it's solo, it's a cultivator, but when it connects to the cedar, it then turns into a cedar, and then basically will not leave seeded ground. I don't want it to leave seeded ground. I want it to continue to leave cultivated ground, because eventually I'm going to be changing my cultivating and seeding ground when I learn how. Because right now the cultivator and seed ground are almost identical to each other. So, but anyway, that's what I need translated in the Luna file, because it just continually goes on down and runs over the top of the headland to cut. So you need to custom make a field if you want to be able to run it like this under AI and leave it, let it go. You'll still need to clean up your headlands on the turnaround, as far as the turning, leave behind stuff. That's normal. You cannot get around that. But you'll need to custom make your field if you want to do this. I imagine probably most of you that are playing multiplayer will probably want to use the double system. I would like to be able to try to add a tank, a fertilizer tank, to the tow frame, and at that time, lovely neighbors, and at that time it will discharge into the cultivators. The cultivators will leave fertilizer on the ground and hydrants. I'd like to be an anhydrous tank, and I think that would be pretty cool. However, I'd need someone to help me with the scripts to do that, because I don't know how to list that up with the XML and what Lewis I'll need. So, but here you see it should stop right there and then turn around. But it goes all the way to the end. So anyway, that is the one pass pack that I'm creating. Like I said, the cedar, I want to try to get permission to release it as a generic block model, but the actual original John Deere cedar is being remade, and a lot of new features being added to it for 2013 from the 2011 version. But as you can see here, you see this little patch here at the edge that's being left behind. That is perfectly normal, and what you'll need to do is, after you're done with the field, is to come back and manually run around the outside and do your headlands and clean it up, and then you're all done. So, anyway, I hope you enjoy the model. It's still work in progress. Like I said, I still have some things to do with the tow bar yet. Once I need some metal pieces and stuff, but it's operating and it's ready to go. Hope you enjoyed the video.